Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and it is finally time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everyone. The weekly comic book review is the show where I read a lot of comics, and I let you know what I think about them. Sorry for the delay this week, but because of the American holiday of Independence Day, 4th of July, comics arrived a little bit late. Took me a little bit longer to read and get into the video, but here we are, and as always, we start with the pick of the week. Now, this was a very light week, and I am grateful for it. With the delay in shipping and just so many comic books that I've been reading lately, it's nice to have a kind of a small week and just talk to you guys about it. But we always start with the pick of the week. This week's pick of the week comes from Image Comics, and it's Sacred Creatures #1. This one flew in underneath my radar. I heard about it, I remember seeing it in previews, didn't really think much of it. It came in this week. First of all, this thing's huge. It's over 60 pages, no ads. All story. Over 60 pages, and it's $4.99. But out of everything else this week, this is the biggest bang for your buck. It's very dense, it's got a lot of story, it's got really good artwork. It was very intriguing, and I found this comic book to be very, very enjoyable. It is written by Pablo Raimondi and Klaus Janson. Klaus Janson, of course, one of the most famous inkers in the comic book industry. Very famous, especially for being the inker of Frank Miller on projects such as Dark Knight and things like that. But the artwork is also done by Pablo Raimondi and has really good colors by Chris Chukri. This book was actually really, really good. And like I said, it's $4.99, but it's got over 60 pages of nothing but art and story. It was actually really, really cool. I can't really tell you too much about what the book is about because they really kind of reveal that at the end with the hook, and it's got a very, very enticing hook that will bring you back wanting more. But overall, I thought this was a really cool book. It involves angels or demons in some kind of way, but it was really, really cool, very intriguing. Lots of mystery, lots of what's going on. You can piece it together as you read it, and then the ending happens, and you're like, what? Give me issue 2. And straight up, $4.99, over 60 pages of story and art. This book was amazing. The artwork is really clear, concise, very structured. It's really, really good, and it does a good job of telling its story. The dialogue is actually really, really good in this. It's got really great dialogue. The pace of the story, the flow of everything works really well. There was a moment in here where I said, man, this is a long comic. Are we about to get to it? And immediately started getting the stuff. So overall, I think Sacred Creatures is worth your time and money. Absolutely, check it out. It's not a perfect comic, but it's pretty solid. And out of everything I read this week, this was the most impressive. So from Image Comics, Sacred Creatures #1. Let's get into some more mainstream comics first before we get back to more Image Comics and whatnot. Batman #26. It is the second part of the War of Jokes and Riddles. You guys know I haven't been the biggest fan of Tom King's Batman, aside from the Elmer Fudd special from last week and a few issues here and there. I just don't think King, I think he has an understanding of the character, but I don't think his understanding of the character is as wide as it should be. I think he's got a very narrow understanding of who Batman / Bruce Wayne is, but this one really spotlights a lot of the villains. And overall, the way that the story started off in the last issue 2 weeks ago, I didn't really like how it launched the storyline with the Joker's nothing's funny to him anymore, and he's super frowny and this and that. I don't know, it was just weird, it was awkward, didn't really like it. This one starts off very weird and awkward, didn't really like it. They kind of parody a scene from the 1989 Tim Burton movie, but using the Riddler this time instead of the Joker. I thought that was a little but whatever. And what the Riddler does at the beginning of this is so stupid, it makes no sense to me for the character, whatever. Overall, though, the issue did get a lot better after that initial scene. I did like a lot about how the gang war between the Joker and the Riddler starts and what the Joker does. Like, that stuff is really cool. The artwork, let's focus on the positive. The artwork, Michael Janin, amazingly crisp, beautiful artwork, accentuated by brilliant colors from June Chung. June Chung does the colors in this, and it is amazing. Janin's artwork is really, really good. You don't get to see a lot of the Joker smiling, but the Joker stuff looks really cool. Look at that page right there. Not the Wonder Woman page, but that right there. That's just, I really like his artwork. I just wish, I don't know. This was a better chapter than the last one. I didn't hate this book all in all. It is kind of intriguing, and parts of it really like, but I do want to spotlight the artwork. The artwork by Janin and Chung is amazing in this, absolutely. So let's move on. Superman, number 26. Started reading this, got very disappointed because this is fill-in issues, everybody. This is a filler issue, straight up. It's a different team, a different writer, different artist. Just filling some stuff in, but it fits. It fits really good after this whole Black Dawn story with the return of Manchester Black. It really focuses in on exactly what this book has been focusing on, and that's Superman as a new father, learning how to be a father to his superpowered son, Jonathan / Superboy. So this was actually really good for a filler issue. That's all it was, though. But it does capture the tone that Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason have set for this book. So as a fill-in issue, it works exceptionally well. It was really cool. I liked it. A good, simple, one-shot story with a nice lesson and really cool characterization. That's exactly what this was. So Superman, once again, there we go. Green Lanterns, number 26. Number 25 I thought was the best issue of this series yet. A super sleeper series, guys. Seriously. This book has been under the radar all year long and has become a must-read, mostly because of the characters of Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. And this book is about what Green Lantern books really need to be about, overcoming fear and anxiety, learning to hone your own willpower. And that stuff is amazing. But what they're doing right here, because there's no Jessica or Simon in here, and it was still a very fun, enjoyable book, they're telling us the story of the first Lantern, of Volthoom. They're getting more in depth about what exactly happened when he first showed up in this universe, in the DC universe, how the Guardian, the long lost Guardian Rami, is involved in that, and how the very first Green Lantern rings were actually made. So fans of Green Lantern mythology, you definitely need to be reading Green Lanterns because they're getting into more essential stuff to the mythos of Green Lantern and the core, all of the core, in this book than they are the Hal Jordan book, for sure. Do not sleep on this book. It's really, really good. From DC Young Animal, we have Shade, the Changing Girl, number 10. This book is weird, psychedelic, random. That's how it feels when you read it. It feels disjointed. It feels like, what is going on? I don't really understand everything. It just feels structured, very odd, and it's very effective because of that. This book has continued on for 10 issues of making no to little sense, but it does. It really does make a lot of sense. It's a very simple story that's easy to grasp, but the way they tell the story is so jarring and psychedelic and weird, and it works. It's so cool. I adore this book. Shade the Changing Girl has become a must-read. It's overtaken Cave Carson as my second favorite DC Young Animal book. Absolutely. Wow, you guys saw that. That one right there, Doom Patrol, of course, is the best one. I just broke the wing on that Power Rangers Zord, but that's cool because whatever. I'm glad you guys got to see that. Shade the Changing Girl, awesome. Definitely read it if you're into something new, unique, trippy, crazy, wacky, wild, and weird, and crazy. There you go. Marvel Comics, let's move over there. Black Panther, number 3. Black Panther, Black Bolt. Why did I say Black Panther? Black Bolt, number 3. I thought this issue was okay. Issue 1 of this blew me away, mostly because of the artwork by Christian Ward. The first half of this book, Christian Ward's artwork doesn't pop as much as it has in the previous 2 issues, though in the second half, the latter half of this issue, it does get a lot better. It comes back together. The story, though, as it progresses, has some cool themes. I will admit that, but overall the story doesn't grab me as much as the artwork does at times. And so I'm falling off of this book story-wise. I still like the artwork, but the story is just, it's starting to lose me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is just a mini-series, but they're not telling us. The dialogue's a little stiff and stilted in this issue. Some of the characterizations are a little weird and odd because this book came out and it seemed like it was going to be really deep and a lot more meaningful than it's turned out to be so far. But like I said, the artwork is amazing. The story's not bad. It's good. It's decent. It's just not as important as it seemed like it was going to be after issue 1. So issue 3 was kind of a disappointment to me. Absolutely. What was not a disappointment, though, was Hawkeye number 8. Hawkeye has been an amazing book. This is now Kate Bishop's book. She stars in it. The second Hawkeye, the cooler Hawkeye, in my opinion. It's written by Kelly Thompson, who is an amazing writer. She is a brilliant writer who has reimagined things like Jim and the Holograms over at IDW. to massive critical acclaim. Really cool stuff. I really like it. Kelly Thompson is a very accomplished writer who is able to do dense stories. She has a lot of meat in these 20 pages. And Leonardo Romero's artwork is crisp, clean, noirish, and just perfectly matched with the tone that Kelly Thompson has set for this book. Kate Bishop is a great character. She's adorable. She's just so well-intentioned, but things don't always work out right. She's very relatable. Kate Bishop is like my homie, and this book makes me feel like Kate is one of my friends, and it's brought me close to the character, and I really like this book, and I really appreciate what Thompson and Romero are doing on this book, because it's, right now, my favorite comic book at Marvel, Hawkeye. Seriously, guys, check it out. And a close second, maybe, would be The Unstoppable Wasp, and The Unstoppable Wasp continues with number 7. This was a great issue that almost made my pick of the week. It spotlights Janet. Janet Van Dyne, the original Wasp, gets really highlighted in this issue, and that's cool because we haven't seen her for a while. It really gets into her character. Jeremy Whitley has been doing an amazing job writing this. It is at times a little verbose. It is a little wordy. It does drag on a little bit with too many captions per page sometimes, but it still flows very well, and I like it. Hawkeye, I think, handles that a little bit better, its pacing, than this book. The pacing's the only thing a little bit off with the scripting on this book, but I love it otherwise. I love the character of Nadia Pym, and you throw Janet in there, and their relationship is really, really cool. Basically, Janet's her stepmother, and just really good, fun, solid stuff. New artist, though, Veronica Fish, who I am familiar with her work because of titles such as Archie. She did some work on the recent Archie book with Mark Waid that was really, really cool. She takes over for Elsa, what was it, Chandelier or whatever, who that was. I think she has gone on to do some stuff with George R.R. Martin, which is unfortunate because the artwork was a big appeal to this, but Veronica Fish actually jumps in and kind of just keeps the flow going. It's really good, very enjoyable. I love this book. It's unstoppable, guys. Definitely check it out. X-Men Gold number 7 is definitely going to be the last issue of X-Men Gold that I read because I've given it 7 issues, guys. I have given this title more of a chance than I give most superhero titles because I want to believe that this book can be good because it's got the characters that you want to see, including Rachel Grey. I really like the character of Rachel. When I first started reading X-Men comics, she was around, and the Hellhound, the Hound, all that stuff. It was during that era. Really cool, fun stuff. I think Ramita was doing the artwork, Ramita Jr. But this book is not good. It's so just sloppy from scripting to artwork. I'm not trying to hate on this book, guys. I have tried to enjoy this book, but I don't like it. X-Men Blue is a better title, in my opinion, with characters that I care less about. And that means something to me. Like, these are the characters that we all care about, and it's just a dud. It's just... Mark Guggenheim, not the book for you, guy. You need to step off. Someone else needs to come in because they are doing really good things with the X-Men books right now. But this is supposed to be their flagship book, and it's not working. You got to fix that, Marvel. Absolutely. Spider-Man: The Master Plan number 1 is a one-shot. Came out this week. It's basically coming out to tie into the upcoming Spider-Man Homecoming movie this weekend, guys. Aren't you excited? I'm excited. I'm super pumped for this movie. Lots of good stuff being said about it. But anyway, Spider-Man: The Master Plan. I'm going to let you know that you can totally skip this book unless you're the most hardcore of hardcore Spidey fans. This book it's $3.99, and it's got a little trivial, silly, little stupid story that doesn't really fit in continuity. Like that even matters. It's a trivial, meaningless Spider-Man story for the first half, and the second half is actually a really cool, nifty reprinting of half of Amazing Spider-Man number 2. Mostly reprinting, of course, the first appearance of the Vulcan. The first appearance of the Vulcans, actually, from Star Trek, actually happened in Spider-Man. Did you know that? But, man, I'm messing up today. It's the holiday. It's messing me up. It's the delay. No, it's not. Anyway, Spider-Man Master Plan, it's not that great. If you've never read the first appearance of the Vulture, definitely check it out for that. It's a cheap version to get that, but it's not the whole issue 2 because the issue 2 of the Amazing Spider-Man is actually 2 stories, the Vulture story and a Tinkerer story that involved aliens. It was crazy. Like, the second issue of Amazing Spider-Man involves this alien plot that Peter uncovers, this 15-year-old kid. Really fun, crazy stuff. That's worth it in there. It doesn't have the alien story. It has the Vulture story. Anyway, Master Plan, garbage. You can skip it. Don't worry about it. Straight up, it's just a cash cow. Just a cash grab. Absolutely. Let's get into some of those independent titles. Aftershock released Holy Grail number 1 this week from Cullen Bunn. I am always nervous from anything from Cullen Bunn because usually Bunn gives us really good, solid first issues, even second issues, even third or fourth issues. and then falls off. And I think that might be happening with X-Men Blue right now. I hope that's not going to be the case, but we shall see. The last issue of X-Men Blue, which Cullen Bunn also writes, not my favorite. Unholy Grail is kind of like a dark alternate version of the King Arthur story, in which Merlin is replaced by a demon, and things go terribly, terribly wrong. It was not good. The artwork is okay. The artwork's pretty solid. It doesn't really do the best job of moving the story along, but the script doesn't help the artwork at all. The script is just atrocious in my opinion. I did not like it whatsoever. Stiff. The story's just, I don't know. I don't know. It just felt elementary to me. I didn't really like it that much. It was a cool concept. That's a great cover by Francisco Francavilla. Absolutely. I am super pumped, though, for another book Cullen Bunn has coming out called Dark Ark, about another ark during the Noah's Ark story, right? Another ark that was commissioned to save the monsters of the world. That seems really cool. Seems like he's doing this whole famous religious stories, but the subverted version, the inverted version of that. But I don't know, it didn't work with Unholy Grail for me. I will be skipping further issues of this. Just didn't do anything for me whatsoever. Most Aftershock books, though, don't really impress me, except for Babyteeth is all right. Babyteeth is all right. It's written by Donny Cates, who is really coming up as like the hot it writer right now because of his work on God Country and Redneck, but God Country especially. Babyteeth is cool. It's like an Omen, Rosemary's Baby type thing in a way, Antichrist baby child. This issue was okay. Issue 1 was okay as well. Issue 2 continues the okayness of it, but then it's got a really cool ending. It's got a really cool ending that I'm not going to show you, but just looking at the ending, it's so adorable and scary. It's awesome. Babyteeth is cool and worthwhile because Cates is such an up-and-coming star right now that God Country, Redneck, even Babyteeth, these are books to hold on to, because when this guy really, really hits and he gets some really good solid work at, say, Marvel or DC, or any of these go on to a TV project or a movie, you're going to want to have these books. Because right now, at the beginning, he wasn't a name. Now, Babyteeth, there's probably more Babyteeth printed than there were Initial Orders of God Country or something. Probably not. Okay, let's just be honest with that. But this is definitely Aftershock's biggest success so far, so that's cool for them. Shipwreck by Warren Ellis is my favorite Aftershock book, though. Absolutely, read that one if you get a chance. It's weird, it's cool, but it's also not finished yet. But Babyteeth is neat. If you like the demon Antichrist baby type stories, think Kevin Smith's Daredevil, think Bless the Child, think those kind of movies, right? You're gonna be into this. Absolutely. So I highly recommend it, actually. Motor Girl #7 is the best Terry Moore book I have ever read, and it affirms that with issue #7. I love this book. Terry Moore did Strangers in Paradise, Echo, Rachel Rising. Rachel Rising, out of all of those, was the most appealing to me, though I lost interest pretty quickly in that one. Motor Girls just got me hooked. I am completely hooked on this book. I love it. I love it so much. Motor Girl herself is, I mean, it's a crazy story. It's hard to even describe, but she is a war vet. She's dealing with PTSD, and a way that she deals with this is she has an imaginary friend who's this big, like, gorilla dude, and they have a really charming and funny friendship, and it's really cool. But in this issue especially, man, it will tug at your heartstrings, absolutely. But she lives on this property with this older lady who runs a mechanic shop / junkyard. She works on cars, hence the title Motor Girl. But there's all kinds of crazy government conspiracy and alien type stuff going on too. What? This book is amazing. You need to read it. Absolutely. Hanazuki #1 debuted from IDW. I had no clue what this is. It says that it's adapted by the writer, David Mariotte, with art by Nico Pina. The artwork is a highlight on this book. The artwork is supremely colorful, really cool, animated type style stuff. The story was all over the place. I have no idea what was going on. I don't know if this is, it says it's adapted based on Hanazuki episode 1. So this is based on a TV show or something, or a YouTube show. It says, let's see, a YouTube logo. Hey, YouTube logo. I'll definitely check out the show because maybe that will help my understanding on this, but the art style was amazing. The story made no sense to me. I was like, what? But the artwork was awesome. I really liked it. So that's what I'm going to say about that. The Visitor, and how and why he stayed, from Dark Horse Comics, #5, final issue of this miniseries that focuses on the strange alien visitor that we have seen in the Hellboy books, especially Conqueror Worm. This explains his whole life story. Issue 4 was deep. Issue 5 starts off with that deepness, and then it goes and ties everything together in a nice bow. And now we completely understand why the aliens were there in the Hellboy world, why they were watching Hellboy, and why they interfered when they did. This book was awesome. Definitely was. If you're a Hellboy fan, you're going to love it. If you're not a Hellboy fan, read some Hellboy first. Absolutely. I highly recommend it. I'll throw some links down below to the first 4 or 5 Hellboy books. They're really, really good. Solid stuff. You definitely got to check it out. And the final one I'm going to talk about is Wicked and the Divine, number 29. And I like how that rhymes, and that's really cool. This book is starting to lose me a little bit. I think the weight of the success of this book is hindering the flow of the story of this book. Does that make sense? I don't know if that really makes sense, but that's how I'm feeling. I want to go back and catch back up, maybe. Overall, Wicked and Divine is a great book. Jamie McKelvey is a fantastic artist. Matt Wilson's colors are amazing, but they're a little dull in this issue. I don't know if that's intentional or if something different happened with the printing, but the colors are not as electrifying as they typically are. They just seem slightly dulled. Like, was there a printing defect or something? I don't know. Typically, I love this book so much, but it's getting so wrapped up in the weight of itself that it really needs to, like, it's random to say this book really needs to do something shocking, because at the end of every story, they do something shocking. So I'm pretty sure another shocking thing is about to come up. But it's also one of those books where there's so many characters, so many complex relationships going on. Sometimes you can, especially when they take a gap between issues, you can kind of lose your place in it. That's where I'm at with Wicked and the Divine right now. But I highly recommend this book. It's amazing. In fact, I'm going to throw some links down below to get book 1 and 2 of Wicked and Divine. They will blow you away if you've never read it. Absolutely love this book. So it was a small week, but that's what I read. Did the video. Glad you guys are checking it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know down below, what did you read this week and what did you think about it? It was a light week, but I'm interested to see what you get. Definitely think about this Batman issue and Sacred Creatures #1. So thank you guys so much. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I do this every single week, the weekly comic book review. We also now do a weekly pop culture wrap-up. You can look for that on Sunday mornings. Typically, you can find this video on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much. Let me know down below what you thought about the comics. Thanks for rocking with us, and keep on reading.